Hi YouTube, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my fiance and I are currently recapping our 67-day road trip around the US. It's been an absolute dream so far. We started out in Florida and have made our way across the entire country, hitting some amazing places along the way. In this episode, we're picking up in Las Vegas and taking you all the way into California, then through Oregon, and into Washington, where we'll finish this leg of the trip in Seattle. We stopped in some seriously beautiful places, found a few hidden gems, and of course, picked up more Starbucks mugs for our collection. So buckle up, this stretch of the journey is full of epic coastal drives, forest vibes, and a lot of coffee stops. Let's get into it. We'll also finally be telling you how we dropped our car key to Josie in the ocean. I repeat, our car key fell into the ocean. So stick around for that. We left Vegas early in the morning, coffee in hand and bags barely packed. We hit the road before the sun was even fully up, and within a couple of hours we crossed the border into California, which meant new state unlocked. I've already been to California quite a few times, but this is Alex's first time here, and you also know what that means. We then made our way over to Joshua Tree National Park, which honestly felt like we'd landed in another planet. All those giant boulders and twisty trees and the desert air, it's so peaceful out there, and we spent time just exploring, taking it slow and soaking it all in. I had actually been to Joshua Tree just a couple years ago, and it is still just as beautiful. After that, we hit the road again and made our way over to our final stop of the day, Palm Springs. By the time we arrived, we were tired but happy, and you know what that means. Now I'm going to be totally transparent here. I did not buy the Starbucks mug in Palm Springs because they had not released it yet. But a few days after we left, they decided it was time to. So I had to order this one online. It was my first one I ever purchased on eBay, but I'm just happy to have it. We didn't get up to a whole lot in Palm Springs, and honestly, that was kind of the point. We spent the day just enjoying the sun, walking in and out of super cool little boutiques, and grabbing iced coffees and soaking up the sunshine. It's such a relaxing area, and you totally see why it's an escape from LA for a weekend. It's got the perfect mix of calm and style. After all the miles we've already done, this is exactly what we needed. A little rest before the next leg of our trip. And of course, you already know what time it is. Souvenir time! Let's go! We ended up booking 2 nights at this really lovely hotel called L3 Oasis. We found it on booking.com and it turned out to be such a gem. The room was super cool, the pool area was gorgeous, and it had this laid-back desert vibe that really matched the whole Palm Springs energy. Palm Springs had a really fun vibe. It's a really beautiful area, and we just overall loved the atmosphere. The palm trees, the sunshine, the style. It honestly didn't feel like anywhere else we'd been so far on the trip. And one of our favourite things? Definitely the mountains. Being able to see those rugged peaks through the city was just so cool, especially with the contrast of the desert landscape. But as much as we loved it, Palm Springs did have some tough competition, so it's sliding into 5th place, just after Miami. Still a solid spot on the leaderboard. The next morning we packed up bright and early and hit the road for our next stop, Los Angeles. It was only a couple of hours away, but as we got closer, everything started to shift. More traffic, more city energy, and that classic LA buzz in the air. We were officially leaving the quiet desert vibes behind and heading straight into chaos and the magic of a big city. Los Angeles, the city of stars, palm trees, and so much traffic. It's one of the most iconic cities in the US, known for its movie magic, beaches, bougie neighborhoods, and that mix of chaos and cool that you really only understand once you're there. And of course, you know what that means. The first thing I thought we had to do, a celebrity sightseeing tour. Because not only is it a fun way to spot some of the iconic houses, but it's also a great way to explore Hollywood and learn some random facts along the way. We did see the celebrities from Selling Sunset, by the way. So we were headed straight to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, jumped on one of those classic open-top buses, and spent time soaking up all the chaos, the characters, and the stars, both on the ground and in the hills. We also spent a good chunk of time wandering around the Walk of Fame. It's touristy, yes, but honestly, it's kind of iconic. And we were lucky enough to get to see the taping of Jimmy Kimmel Live, which was a super cool experience. I don't have any footage of that because you're not allowed to film inside, but it was filmed right here on the Walk of Fame, which made it so cool. We also made our way over to Hollywood Park to get a closer look of the Hollywood sign. Obviously had to stop for a little photo session here. We then took a break from the city vibes and headed to Santa Monica for some beach time and to see the famous pier. It's such a beautiful area, chilled out, super photogenic, and the perfect place to reset a little. We then headed over to Orange County, which, luckily for us, means one thing. But the real reason we went down to Orange County was to see the Anaheim Ducks play ice hockey. Neither of us had ever gone to a live hockey game before, and the atmosphere was so good. Even better, the Ducks actually won that night, which made it even more exciting. And because we couldn't leave LA without getting our inner film nerd on, we booked a spot at the Warner Bros. Studio Tour, which was seriously one of the highlights. We got to see real sets, sound stages, props, all of it. It was so cool. And when we came out of the tour, what did we find? So here are where things got even better. We had no idea Warner Bros. Would have a Starbucks mug, but then it got me down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I started Googling on what other Starbucks mugs were in the area, and I saw that Wicked had just announced a brand new Starbucks mug release. Not for one, but for 3 exclusive Wicked Starbucks mugs. And they were literally just launched here in LA. And you know the craziest part? There are only 2 places you can get them, and that's the Universal theme parks, which just happened to be right here. So obviously we made our way over to the Universal City Walk shopping area just outside of the parks and managed to grab all 3 Starbucks mugs, plus the Universal Studios Hollywood mug. I'm basically the best at collecting these mugs. I was so excited, and we were honestly so lucky with the timing. Like, what are the odds? They were a little pricey though, but let's be totally honest, it was worth it. While we were in LA, we stayed at Sonder the Craftsman, which was really good. The place itself was super clean, stylish, and everything we needed. We've had some really good experiences at Sonder so far. Souvenir time! Let's go! So, with Los Angeles, I kind of already knew what to expect. I was there just 2 years ago, and honestly, it hadn't changed much. We still really love the vibes. There are so many absolutely beautiful places to explore, and there's so much to do. The thing about LA is that it's technically one city, but it feels like a bunch of towns all pieced together, and that makes it so cool. You've got the beach, the mountains, the city, and the studios. It's all there. But I do have to say, if you've ever been to LA, you probably know what I mean when I say that there's some areas that don't feel super safe. There's certain kind of energy in parts of the city that we don't really feel anywhere else. Maybe slightly in Las Vegas, Albuquerque, and New Orleans. So with that said, even though we had a great time, LA is sliding into 5th place on our rankings. Still up there, but not breaking into the top tier. We left LA and started heading north, planning a gorgeous coastal drive through Malibu and up to Santa Monica. But this is where our first real snag of our trip happens. Now we've officially made it to the part where I talk about what happened to Josie. We stopped in Malibu to take some photos on the beach. Nothing too fancy, just us, our tripod, our phones, and the car key. And then, it happened. Through a mix of miscommunication and bad luck, Alex accidentally let go of the car key, and I literally saw it drop in. My reflexes kicked in and I dove straight in after it. At this point, I was already standing knee deep in the ocean, but I went full commitment mode, head first into the waves, trying to grab it. Unfortunately, the ocean won. The wave came in and swept the key away, and that was that. I still spent a good while searching in the water, but it was gone for good. So there we were, standing outside our rental car for 2 hours, waiting for someone to come and rescue us. Eventually, they arrived and towed us all the way back to LAX, swapped out our car and sent us back on our way. We messed up. Girl, we... just a little bit upsetting. We were attached to our car, our little Josie. And this is the end to Josie, unfortunately. Say our final goodbyes to Jose. And of course, if you know LA traffic, you know exactly what happens next. We hit full-on rush hour, so the traffic was horrendous. We drove past the same Malibu beach 3 times in one day. By the time we made it to Santa Barbara, it was dark, so instead of exploring all day, we basically just got there in time for bed. On the plus sides, our rental car people were amazing. They didn't charge us anything, and they were honestly just laughing so much at our story. The lady helping us asked what happened. I told her, and she could not stop giggling, especially when I explained I jumped straight into the ocean after the key and was still soaking wet while we were talking. They even pulled the new car right up to us, turned the heat on, and made sure we could get in straight away. Looking back, it's hilarious, but at the time, yeah, not so much. And just like that, it was the end to our car Josie. May she rest in peace. We swapped her out for a brand new ride, a Nissan we decided to name Noelle. Partly because she was a Nissan, and partly because she was meant to last us until Christmas. Spoiler alert, she does not. Anyway, back to Santa Barbara. It is a stunning coastal city, often called the American Riviera, known for its Spanish-style architecture, palm-lined streets, and beautiful ocean views. Obviously, we didn't get up to too much in Santa Barbara because we only had one night there, and we'd already spent the most of the day before frolicking in the ocean after a key. The next morning, we got up early and had a quick wander around the town, soaking in all those gorgeous coastal views, and then hit the road again for the next leg of our trip. However, we still had time for cheeky little souvenir time. Let's go! So for the rankings. As much as I'm sure we would have loved Santa Barbara if we'd had more time, the whole car key situation meant we barely got to experience it. Between towing back, then driving to LA, and then the late night arrival, we only really got to see a tiny bit of the city. So purely because of lack of time and, accidentally donating our car key to the Pacific Ocean, Santa Barbara is sliding into 10th place on the leaderboard. From Santa Barbara, we continued our journey up the coast to our next big stop, San Francisco. And you know what that means. San Francisco, the city of fog, cable cars, and that world-famous Golden Gate Bridge. It's got this unique mix of steep streets, colourful Victorian houses, buzzing neighbourhoods, and stunning bay views. From the moment you arrive, you can feel that creative, slightly quirky energy the city is known for. It's like nowhere else in California. In San Francisco, one of the first things we did was to get up super early and watch the sunrise at the Golden Gate Bridge. Honestly, it was so worth the early alarm. Seeing the bridge glow in the morning light and the fog rolling in was just magical. We actually spent a lot of time at the Golden Gate Bridge that day, checking out different viewpoints and just soaking in all the angles. Fun fact, the bridge isn't actually golden, it's painted in a colour called International Orange, which makes it stand out against the sky and water. From there we headed down to Fisherman's Wharf and spent some time wandering around, grabbing snacks and enjoying the atmosphere. It's super touristy, but it's one of those spots that you kind of have to visit. Of course, we couldn't skip Pier 39, home to shops, restaurants, and probably the most famous residents of the area, The sea lions. They first started showing up in 1989, and now there can be hundreds of them lounging on the docks at any given time. They're noisy, smelly, and completely adorable. Another highlight was Alcatraz. We took the ferry out to the island and explored the infamous former prison. The audio tour is incredible. It's narrated by real former inmates and guards, which makes it feel so real. It's one of those experiences that both are eerie and fascinating at the same time. And then it's souvenir time! Let's go! While we're in San Francisco, we stayed at the Inn on Broadway. It was a really convenient location, making it easy to get around the city, and the room was simple but comfortable. Ranking San Francisco is really difficult because we really love the city. I'd been here before and absolutely adored it, and it was exciting to get to do it all over again. We loved the sourdough, the bakeries, the general vibe of the place. And obviously, the Golden Gate Bridge is stunning. Every time you see it, it still feels special. So I think San Francisco is going to have to go into 5th place. It doesn't quite match the Miami vibes for us, but it definitely edges out Los Angeles, purely because the bridge is just so breathtaking. The next morning we woke up super duper early and hit the road for our next stop. This one is a pretty exciting one. We were heading over to Sacramento, and you know what that means. Sacramento is California's capital city, and it's got this really cool mix of history and modern city life. You've got the beautiful old historic district, great coffee shops, and surprisingly laid-back vibe for a capital state. We were extra excited for Sacramento because we were staying in a really unique place. The Delta King Hotel, which was actually a restored 1920s steamboat docked right on the river. It was such a cool experience, and we even got to watch sea lions playing in the water from the boat. It was such a fun vibe, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for somewhere memorable to stay in Sacramento. That evening, we just wandered around the Old Town area, which is full of wooden boardwalks, historic buildings, and pretty views over the river. It's got this really charming, almost Wild West feel to it, and it was the perfect way to spend the night. For the rankings, we are going to have to put Sacramento in 13th place. It is a really nice city, and staying on the Delta King was honestly one of the coolest hotel experiences of the whole trip. But in terms of things to do, there just wasn't much of it compared to other stops. From Sacramento, we left bright and early for one of the most exciting nature stops of the whole trip, the Redwoods. The Redwood National and State Parks are home to some of the tallest trees in the world, with some over 2,000 years old. Walking among them feels like stepping into another world. The scale, the quiet, the smell of forest, it's this kind of place that instantly makes you feel small in the best way possible. Eventually we made our way over to Eureka and checked ourselves into the Ramada for the night. Nothing fancy, but it did the job. However, as we were checking into Eureka, we found out something very important. A bomb cyclone was heading our way, and for basically the next week of our trip, we were going to be caught up in it. The next morning, we woke up bright and early, excited to head into the Redwoods, but unfortunately most of the roads were closed because of the cyclone. The weather was wild. Heavy rain, crazy winds, and that eerie feeling you get when you think you're in the middle of something big. Honestly, we had never experienced rain like that before. The wind, the downpour, the spray from the trees, it felt like the forest was alive and moving around us. Unfortunately, we didn't take as much time as we'd liked in the Redwoods, thanks to the weather, but even the short glimpse was unforgettable. And of course, souvenir time! However, the Redwoods are going to fall into 9th place, just from how amazing it was. So we left the Redwoods behind and hit the road. And this was an exciting one because we were finally crossing into a new state, Oregon. New state unlocked! And you know what that means. We had a very long drive ahead of us today, just making our way up through Oregon, enjoying the views as it was absolutely pouring down with rain the entire time. By the time we made it to Portland, we were ready in to settle for the night. And you know what that means. Portland is Oregon's largest city, and is famous for its quirky personality, incredible food scene, and love of all things local, from craft coffee to handmade goods. It's also known as the City of Roses, as it has a really strong outdoor culture with mountains, forests, and rainfalls just a short drive away. While we're in Portland, we made sure to do a few must-dos. First up, Voodoo Donuts. This place is legendary for its wild and creative flavours, and honestly, half of the fun is just seeing all the crazy designs. We also made sure to check out Powell's City of Books, which is the largest independent bookstore in the world. You could spend hours, all days, wandering through the different rooms, and it's basically book heaven. And of course, we couldn't leave Oregon without doing a bit of shopping. Because Oregon, there's no sales tax. It pretty much rained the whole time we were in Portland, which was actually kind of funny because we kept telling locals how much it felt like being back in the UK. They totally agreed. Apparently a lot of Brits say that. And then of course, souvenir time! For the rankings, Portland is going into 13th place. Unfortunately, the constant rain did hold us back a bit from fully exploring, but I just loved the vibes here. We woke up bright and early and set off to the last destination of the video, and with that, new state unlocked. Now, we may have broken a couple of laws trying to get a video in front of the state sign. We had to park on the side of the freeway, scramble down a hill and over to the sign, but we got it. From there, we continued towards Seattle, but made a quick detour into Mount Rainier National Park. And you know what that means. We spent some time just driving around the mountains, taking in the incredible views, and officially saw snow for the first time on this trip. And then, souvenir time! Let's go! From Mount Rainier, we headed over to Seattle, and you know what that means. A city that I'd already visited before, but honestly, one of my favourite in the whole of the US. In Seattle, we packed in quite a lot. A big chunk of our time was spent around Pike Place Market, wandering through the stores, checking out the fresh flowers, seafood, and the quirky shops. It's such a vibrant spot. There's so much to see and smell and taste. While we were there, we made sure to visit the first ever Starbucks, which is right in Pike Place, and let me tell you, there was a queue to get in. But we waited and eventually made it inside, and what did we find? A new Starbucks mug! We also managed to squeeze in a football game watching the Seattle Seahawks, and they won. We seem to be on a lucky streak with the teams that we watch on this trip, and I'm absolutely taking credit for it. Of course, we had to check out the Space Needle, and not just from the ground, we actually went up to the top. And it was so interesting because since I last visited in 2017, they've completely revamped it. Now there's these glass floors and sleek viewing areas, and it just feels way more modern. It also spins on its own. You can stand in one spot and see the whole city. Overall, we really loved our time in Seattle. We explored, we ate, and just soaked in the city's energy. And a little nod to home, we even managed to sneak in a chicken tikka masala because we were craving some comfort food. And then, souvenir time! Let's go! While we were in Seattle, we stayed at the Sonder Rail Spur, which was really cool. And yes, we stayed at another Sonder. This room was gorgeous and having a kitchen was such a treat. We even did a little cooking and had some time to have our own space. This was also the first part of the trip where it started getting really cold. I actually had to buy a new coat. Now for the ranking. This one is really hard for us because we absolutely loved Orlando and our top 3 has felt so solid up until now. But I think Seattle is going to break into that top 3 spot and take Orlando's place. In this leg of the trip, we covered 3 states. explored some incredible cities and landscapes, and collected even more Starbucks mugs. Honestly, I think this might be our biggest mug haul yet. From the bright lights of LA to the coastal beauty of California, forests of Oregon, and the bustling charm of Seattle, it is quite an epic stretch of the journey. But next week, we're switching things up. For the first time since starting this road trip, we're leaving the US for a very brief detour. 2 weeks in Canada. And trust me, you're going to want to see this. We visited one of the most beautiful places in the world, and I can't wait to share it with you. So make sure you tune in next week. Canada is going to be stunning.